Alright, we're going to give this a go. And I was just trying to move some stuff around on some settings on YouTube, and it was running really, really sluggish, so hopefully that doesn't mean that this is going to be some kind of a shit show. And a warning down here. What is it? Skip frames. Okay. Boy, this thing's obsessed with making me want to pay for this thing. No, I'm not going to pay for Streamlabs. I'd have to pay. I would have to pay every month just to do this show if I did that. And that's not cool. Alright. So this is where we left off this morning on this Crusader. And it looks like it defaulted again to not being the close view. So let's see if we can change that. On webcam, let's go on the settings. Yeah, it's running really, really sluggish. Configure. I didn't do anything different. That's just the internet. It's too many people out there using them. Configure video. Come on. This little thing pops up at the bottom. Let's change the zoom. And apply. And OK. And now close this thing. Okay. And now we're more zoomed. Okay, so this is the Crusader as far as we got yesterday, or this morning, really. We got everything done on it except the photo etch. So we're not going to get bogged down. Oh, we actually have some headlamps to do. I didn't do those either. So we got to do some headlamps. Okay, that's 6 and 7. One has like a little vision thing over it, and that one goes on this side. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and snip those two out. Now you can make this as a Crusader 1 or a Crusader 2. Each one of these. I'm going to forget that I can make them as a Crusader 2, but I'm not going to glue these machine gun turrets in anyways. And what are these? The super readers? Well, we'll see if somebody comes online to hang out with us. Otherwise, it'll be a short show. I do have to make a video that doesn't involve being online, so that might just be the catalyst to do that instead. But I figure I might as well paint live if people are going to be on. All right, let's. I can't work with my jewelry on. Is it really jewelry if it's not worth much? It's not bejeweled or anything. I think we hit the nail on the head on that one. Okay, that's the one that goes on this side over here. Let's cut the other one. This little stickum just gives it enough of a traction so it doesn't go flying. I could actually do without putting these type of pieces on. And it's not because they're small, it's that you need to trim them and they're small. And Trimming them isn't the problem. Finding them isn't the problem. It's being able to put enough purchase on them to keep them from flying. And you don't want to have them too loose, or you won't be able to hold the thing in place while you experiment with it. Okay, so I'm going to actually read ahead and make sure that we don't go and put. Okay, so the photo etch goes from these two prongs all around the back. Okay, so this larger prong here is where this headlight goes, the headlamp goes. All right, so we're going to drop a little sport glue. Let's move this turret out of the way. Snapdragon. I may actually need to take my contacts out. Never mind the noise in the background. We're just waterboarding people and hitting people with sticks. Not sorry. That's okay. Hit him again. Yes? What's that? Was ist das?
Do you want one?
What is it?
It's the gummy bear.
Okay.
Do you want another?
You look cute.
I cooked.
Love you.
Love you. You want another?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Luckily, that's not your real voice. Ah, Snapdragon. Let's see. Let's get. There we go. Now, where is my super tweezers? The ones that are unaffordable to ever buy again. I got them from my dad around 1986 or something like that, and I've had them ever since. Okay, so this is all of the meat and potatoes of this thing other than the photo etch. So we're going to set this Crusader off to the side and start working on the other one. Now I think I'm probably going to build them all before I paint a single one. I got 2 paint videos I want to do. One of them is, because people have asked me, and one of them is how to paint stuff for the desert, or at least what I do. And the other one is how to paint counter. So we're going to do the plain desert one first. Or at least I like how it turns out. It has the vision, it fulfills the vision that I have when I'm like, what I want these guys to look like. Okay, so it wants us to do the turret again and probably cut all these pieces out and just lay them out here, but that's how you get into trouble. You're getting too bold. So here's the front of the turret. These 2 as well. The gun. And eventually the turret on the back. And there is one headlamp that goes on the turret. We won't cut that one off because those are the items that we'll transport to somewhere else. Then I'll spend an inordinate amount of time looking for them. Notice I didn't say I'd lose them. I've only lost one item that I can. I've only verified that I've lost one item. As a matter of fact, I was clearing out the my airbrush station outside, and I found the remaining the remaining tire from the Airfix SDK of Z222. I had said I decided to make it a wreck because I couldn't find one of the tires. What was in my other box? I don't necessarily regret it being a destroyed model. It doesn't look as good as the Dragon ones anyways, so. Oh my god, I said Dragon. That's unusual for me. I usually call them DML, which is what they used to be called. I don't know why they changed names. Maybe it's one of those, you know, Hong Kong went back to the Chinese and they wanted to call it something else. But I always called it DML for the longest time. We got on there 3. I think it straightened itself out a little bit. Usually it was like 12 or something like that. I know something's definitely wrong. Let's see where's that little piece of sandpaper. I used to cut this in smaller squares, but it's honestly harder to mess with in smaller pieces. Take that off of it. I always like to check and make sure that everything fits okay. Yep. Okay, we can go ahead and attach that. this challenging bit. What I call this patience of a saint, touch of an angel. I mean, it took about an hour to build that one. And these are like, I'd say easy build kits, but you gotta clean them up. Well, you don't have to. You should. And we'll use the back of the X-Acto knife. So I got a question for my British friends. See if there's any of them that come on here. I got a question on this. I came across some interesting bit of information on doing the research on this thing. But might be shut-eye time over there. There we go. Go into that. No. This will go in here. We do not need this to be rotating up and down. I am interested in the turret being pointing in the right direction, but I'm not necessarily interested in it depressed to fire at a certain person. Oh, I tried to get in here relatively early to catch my Brits, but maybe they were asleep already. I don't blame them. I go to sleep pretty early. Always liked the way this tank looks. It's an attractive vehicle. Okay. And the headlamp that's on there is number 5. Here it is. Just wonder when a little bit went. It seems like every day I find a little bit more organization, little bit more stuff about that battle. Now I found the document that people were arguing about, not arguing, but they were discussing about what tank numbers were in certain units. You know, like almost like the license plate numbers, like this number is here on the turrets. You know, there's documentation that says which one's in each one. Unfortunately, they don't say what the name of them is. Because it seemed like almost all the British tanks at this time period had some kind of a name. There's exceptions to them, but I figured, well, I talked about this before. It's like, you know, there's always some kind of theme that they have. Like, you know, this name of the squadron. So you've got 8 tanks that start with an A and A squadron, and ones that start with a B and B squadron, and stuff like that. There's one of the regiments, I don't remember which one it is right now, that had their units that started with an F. And Fly Flapper was one of them, which is apparently there's a World War I tank that was called Fly Flapper. You don't want your fly being flapping in the wind. You get sand in it if you're in the desert. What was the other one that was called with an F? Formidable. That's a good name. Maybe not for a cruiser tank that's lightly armored. And then one that I did not know what the meaning of it was, and that's where I want my British people to come in here. Where are my Brits at? So you can confirm something. And this is just from photographic evidence. And there was one Crusaders that started with an F. It was called Fray Bentos. It was actually knocked out. So I went and looked. I'm like, what is this? Some kind of monk or something like that? Fray Bentos? Apparently, Fray Bentos is a brand of, and see, this is where I need my Brits to confirm this. Apparently, it is a brand of like food products, like Heinz or Nestle or something like that. I don't know if they're still around. I'm like, I don't know if that's what it's in reference to. It would seem really strange to name, you know, a cruiser tank after, you know, Green Giant, you know, or something, you know, a food product. That seems awfully strange. But I don't know. But only the Brits would know, I would think. I've never heard that before. Products so bad they don't leave England, you know, or I don't know. Alright, let's clip this thing out. And the 2 running gears. Fray Bentos makes tin pies and corned beef for the most part. Is it named after something? Thank you, my British people. What is the set of 1? So yeah, I came across that. I figured it was like, maybe it's the name of some tribal warlord from one of the Celtic clans or something like that. And here's this tin of something. Frey Bentos. Why would they name? Why would they name a Crusader tank Frey Bentos? That'd be like having a Sherman called Kellogg, or Purina. It doesn't make sense. So, I am going to do a chart. I am going to do a chart because I like doing shit like this. I'm going to do a chart over the holidays before we decal one of these things up, or as you like to say, decal it up, of the numbers, the turret numbers, the tank numbers that are in, the chassis numbers or what have you, that there's evidence in, and maybe we can make some of those numbers up with these numbers that are there. But I'm going to have to guess what they're named. Named after a port in Uruguay. Really? Frey Bentos. Well, that was just one of the squadrons that was that. But I did finally get an exact count on how many tanks are in which unit. So I've got a pretty good idea of who has what tank. I mean, I already had a pretty good idea, but I got even a better idea as I cross-referenced a couple documents, and I feel really good about several things. So. Frey Bentos. There's only the name of one place in Uruguay I know the name of, and that's because it's the capital of the damn place. Montevideo. The mountain of videos. Wiki says a tank in World War I was named Frey Bentos because the men inside felt like they were in tin meat. Oh man. What's the famous tin meat place? Hormel! That's what it is. Well, the H's are, there's one of the 8th RTR, which was equipped with Valentines and was helping out the New Zealanders, the Kiwis. It had a bunch of H names. Frey Bentos. Yeah, Fly Flapper is another one of those tanks from that unit that's also named after a World War I tank. Hopefully it's one that survived the war, because why would you name something after something that sunk? Like, how many Yorktowns do there need to be? So I tell you, I don't want to go to war in a ship named the Yorktown. Not exactly a lucky name. Not that I'm superstitious, but I'm just saying that, things don't go well for things named Yorktown. I watched one episode of Churchill at War, the daughter and I did. It was alright, other than he didn't look, the guy that was portraying him didn't look like him at all. He sounded like him, so at least he did a good job with that, but I don't think I glued this in, which is okay. I want the flexibility of popping that thing out and getting in between those wheels. It'll save me a shitload of time. A shite-load. So everybody in my family thought it was crazy when I said, when I go to London, there's just one thing I want to do. At some point, I want to just be in some situation, especially if like we're waiting or something, and just scream at the top of my lungs. Get on with it. Thought it was crazy. No, I am. Yeah, Fly Flapper, Frey Bentos, which was knocked out, and formidable, formidable, as you guys would probably say. Frey Bentos. Yeah, and then you're knocked out. Okay. This is the front. Yeah, the World War I tanks are freaking ugly. Damn near every one of them. There's a lot of World War I stuff that's ugly. Like those little caps that the German army used, World War One, that look like bakers hats. Those look stupid. Sorry. If you like them, well, good for you. A lot of the World War One planes are unattractive. I'd say most of the World War One planes are unattractive, and not because they're biplanes. There's lots of good-looking biplanes. I don't really think the Sopwith Camel's an attractive aircraft. You didn't, I did. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't think so. I don't think a Spad's an attractive aircraft. Pretty much all the World War One aircraft are ugly except the Albatrossin. Maybe the Faltzes, because they look like Albatrossin. The Brisfits don't look bad, though. Brisfits. Misfits and the Brisfit. And the DH-4s don't look bad. But by and large, almost all the other planes I find unattractive. Newport 17s are unattractive, but at least they're cute. Yeah, I don't know how much armor World War One tanks had, but I'm guessing probably not a lot. Nope. Okay, well that was delicious. Making Rice Krispie treats, which we don't really make. We don't really make dessert and cookies and stuff like that, but I guess holidays are excuses. And they got some marshmallows that are maple, and they don't taste fake at all. felt something. I was at the dinner table. There was a little jumping spider that was on me. Cute little thing. I'm not scared of spiders. I mean, I don't want a tarantula crawling on me, but I can just feel them on my leg hairs. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's one of the cute jumping spiders. And he jumped off, and I went and squashed him because he's not supposed to be in the friggin' house. You know? They're cute until you look at them with a microscope, and then you're like, no. You know, but still, they're this big, you know. I know some of you guys freak out about spiders, and all I can say is, be a man. Come on, man, he's little. They're cleaning your house of bugs, man. They're what the hell happened here? It got bloody bent. Yeah, that isn't a piece of flesh. Now that sits up here, and the other one sits below it. Yeah. Let's bend this thing back. Wiki says it, and it must be true. I haven't found a lot of wrong information on Wikipedia, but then I'm not really searching for things that happened yesterday or are really political. Like, there weren't a lot of people wouldn't have anything to gain by manipulating the information I'm looking for. That information's got to be somewhere. There's got to be somewhere that somebody's got the information, like a bunch of the names of a bunch of those tanks. It's got to be there. I got to believe it's got to be there. That's the kind of stuff that I get excited about. And I might as well make up names. I just want them to be done in the spirit of the whole thing. it sits in there. I guess the earlier versions of this had like sand shields that were like half the sand shield. Like have it in the back but not up front kind of thing. Or had a part missing. Actually looks kind of odd. Looked kind of odd on this vehicle. That's an attractive vehicle. I like it anyways. And some of these units of Crusaders, because the Crusaders were relatively new, had a minimum of markings, but all of mine will have a gerbo on the front at least. Took all the big parts off. Okay, there's that. How will I know when those Tamiya clippers are clipped their last clip? I mean, they're a lot harder than anything that I clip with them, but eventually, I would imagine they need to be replaced. All right, now let's go ahead and take the turret so we don't bang something out of the way. Let's see what we got here. Let's see how the fit is on this one. It looks pretty good. I just gotta make it one more day. Just hold this in place for a little bit. Not very many pieces. I'm not sure how many it is, but well, you could just count them. 16? That's a pretty low piece count. And now we should be able to pull. We should be able to pull the bottom out. I mean, it's not like I couldn't paint in here. It would take a lot longer than it needs to. All right, and the only thing we got left on this guy is put these headlamps. I'm gonna cut this out. We're gonna keep that. We're gonna throw that screw away. Let's get that stick on here again. got these little guys sitting here, and we need to trim. Could probably use tape as well, but this works pretty well. I think once it's on it, if there's anything else to trim, now you got enough resistance to be able to trim it. Okay, so one of these actually has like a little lip, and that one goes on the driver's side, I guess, so it doesn't shine up and it blinds the guy when he's driving. So we just got to see which side this one is. Okay, this is the non-blocked one. So this one's going to go right here. And I plan on doing 2 videos. One of them is just how to paint desert vehicles, how to paint the British desert vehicles, or how I've done it. And the other one is for counter, how I've done it. Somebody's asking me, yeah, I could probably do that. And those are ones that I wouldn't do live. And I could actually make those videos while there's people here. And if I get interrupted, well, I just have to, that could take a long time editing the video, but you play those forward like 8 times the speed or whatever. And I wanted to get some rubber tip tweezers, and I did, but they're not fine enough. Yeah, these things they're slippery as shit. No, let's use your brain. Then when that's glued, we'll pull that off. But this little turd will end up being like this. You just bump that guy. No, we're still good. And now we got a pair of Crusaders. We got 6 of these, so. Gonna be some havoc causing, that's for sure.